Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm going to keep this intro really short. I went back to the same area as in my last video where I found a bunch of silver coins and I did it again. So I hope you enjoy. Here it is. Okay, after digging a modern dime, next signal here I already filled back the hole back in. The lady here was concerned about holes in the yard, so I had to really convince her that I was going to do a good job and you wouldn't be able to see them. So I'm being really careful with the holes. But second signal, got a bicentennial quarter. That's a good sign. Seems like a nice original lawn. I think we'll get some oldies out of here. Sweet. Okay, my next signal here, about 2 to 3 inches down. Like I said in the last clip, before I film, I'm filling in the holes to be real careful on this property. Next signal, 1938 wheat cent. Awesome, and I think there's another penny signal a few inches up, so it's probably going to be another one. If it is, I'll let you know. So that signal about 5 inches away was another wheat cent, about 2 inches down. It's in 1946. Once again, patched to perfection. Okay, next signal out by the sidewalk in 82. I actually thought it was going to be a penny, but as you can tell, I didn't really test the signal for size because it's much larger. Looks like some sort of medallion. I'm not sure. Could be religious. I really have no idea. I'll have to clean it up later. It looks religious in nature just by seeing the front of it, but I can't quite tell yet. Could be wrong. But pretty neat find. It's old. Nice preserved lawn here. Had my eyes on this one for a while. Finally caught the people home. After some cleanup, you can see the medallion reads Woodman of the World Golden Anniversary 1890 to 1940. Now this institution is still in business today under the name Woodman Life Insurance. So I know you can't see much on this one, so I'm going to show you a picture of one in non-dug condition. Okay, next good signal, about 2 to 2.5 inches down, right in the nickel range. Already patched the hole, and it's a silver. It's a war nickel. I wasn't expecting that. Looks like a P mint mark. 1940. I can't tell. Probably 43. That's the common one. But hey, it's a silver nickel. We'll take it. On to the next. Okay, I am totally not replaying the last clip. Deja vu. I went up about a yard and I had another nice solid nickel tone. And I had this weird thing in the back of my mind. I said, wouldn't that be awesome if it was back-to-back war nickels? Like, that would happen. I've never done it. But it was a solid nickel signal, and I thought it was going to be a coin. I went down. Next signal. It's another war nickel. I don't know what the odds of that are. It's really caked on the front, but just to show you, the last one I dug, it's right there. So that's pretty crazy. 2 silver war nickels in the last minute. Unbelievable. Let's keep hunting. So there's my back-to-back war nickels. Back to back. Okay, I know that was terrible. All jokes aside, they are both 1943p. And they got a lot of pimples on them. But that happens because of the low silver content. 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. So they come out of the ground looking pretty weird sometimes, I should say. But there they are. What an awesome minute of digging. Okay, next signal. Came in a notch above a nickel. I thought this one might just be trash, but we're on a rampage. I got me a buffalo now. And once again, 2 inches down. It's got pretty high relief on it. It's probably going to have a date on it. This one's probably going to be from the mid-1930s because the house I'm hunting isn't super old. 1930s. So awesome. 2 war nickels and a buffalo nickel in the last 3 holes. I love these original places. Sweet. Mr. Buffy has no date, but that's okay. We'll take him anyway. Okay, next signal right here. It kind of rang in like a penny, maybe slightly a bit higher. And it's a silver mercury dime, and it rang in really low because it is incredibly worn. That thing is like super slick. I can tell by the front. The rim's worn almost the whole way into the coin. The lettering might even be there. I hope the date's still there, but this might be from the teens. Really worn one. At the very latest, probably early 20s, so that's awesome. This mercury dime has been worn into oblivion. I can barely see just a piece of the date. It is 192 something. And unfortunately, I don't think it's a 1921 because you might see the little tip of the 1 poking out there. That's a rare one. And they didn't make mercury dimes in 1922, so most likely this is probably going to be a 1920 on the button, because you don't see the ones from the mid-20s and on up that are this worn. So that would be my best guess on that. Also, you can see that moon-shaped mark on the front of the mercury dime. It appears this had gone through an old coin counting machine at some point. That's kind of a machine mark on it, from the best I can tell. On the reverse, it isn't looking any better. Very, very worn. All the lettering is almost completely gone. I do believe there's a mint mark on the back of it. I think I see the very tip of an S here above where it's worn, but I'll probably never know definitively. But it looks like the top of potentially an S mint mark. So this could be something like a 1920S, something like that. But it's a nice old mercury dime. I don't care how worn they are. I actually think they have more character like this. Very cool coin. Okay, I have another one here that I think is going to be a silver dime, or maybe a wheat penny. It is bouncing a little bit, but I like how it spikes higher. Going from 81 all the way up to 86, 87. So a bit bouncy, but it should still be a coin. Very solid. When it hits, it's hit really solid that way. I'm going to show you how I do this in lawns where they're worried about the digging. I'm going to do this live. So it's going to be about right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a really small plug, kind of like in a half moon shape like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to lift the hole up, or the plug, I should say, just other than a little bit. Oh, I can't do it with one hand with the camera, but then all I do is I slip the pin pointer in, like this. Well, if I have one hand, we'll have to flip it up because I'm holding the camera. But I slip the pin pointer in, and then I kind of just go in and get it like this without even really lifting the plug up. But it's right here. So that ended up being a penny, but it is a wheat cent. And that was the signal, so I don't leave it open very long in case they're looking out the window and think I'm digging a trench in their yard. Put it back, and I'll stamp it down, and you can't even tell. So the crazy thing about this lawn is there is next to no trash. Actually, now that I think about it, this is the only trash target I dug. It's actually a lump of coal. I didn't dig a single bottle cap, pull tab, nothing. Super clean, old maintained yard. And right here, they ripped out a small tree here or something. I'm not sure what. Maybe not, but right here, got a nice 80 signal. And about 3 inches down, it's another slightly older wheat cent, a 1937. I stopped showing some of the wheats I've been digging, and I also did get a couple modern coins as well. Now let's retrieve this one. I had a bouncy signal here that was shooting up high on the conductive once in a while. I'm not sure if this is going to be a coin spill. There could be some iron underneath it because the signal was really funky, even dipping the whole way down into the 60s. But I flipped open my plug. Look at the bottom of it, pushed up with some of the small roots here. Pushed a silver dime up. That's a silver Roosevelt. 1950 something. I can't see the last digit. Let's check it again here with the pin pointer. I heard something below it. Well, that doesn't seem super deep. Let's try it live. Just pop in the end here to see if another coin comes out. Okay, it's shallow, so that's a good sign, but there it is right here. I think I saw it. Is that a piece? Yep. Oh, that's definitely what would have messed up the signal. Just a little iron hook, probably from like the porch or something to hang plants off of. But down in there with a mercury dime, that's why the signal was funky, but the T2 sniffed it out. That's only the second piece of trash I dug from here. Now, once all the coins clear out though, I will go back and dig all the faint signals, so there's more trash on the way. But awesome so far. And another lovely bit of silver, 1954 90% silver Roosevelt dime. A little bit dark on the reverse, and as you can see down at the bottom, got a D mint mark. Okay, so I thought this was funny. I came in the sidewalk strip that has all these crazy massive roots weaving through it, and I had a signal like right on top of this dirt mound. It was a 1967 penny. You can tell right here in the middle section on this street. The roots pushed the sidewalk up and they had to repair this midsection from right where I'm at here, from that corner, this big slab right here up until there. So yeah, that's what these tree roots do over time in these neighborhoods. But still old and semi-old coins right around the sidewalk. Okay, super neat find here. Blasting 82 signal. It's a solid chunk of lead. It looks like a tank. That is really crazy. Looks like to me like an old school World War I tank of some sort. That's an awesome relic. I'll clean it up later. Solid chunk of lead. It is so heavy. So this has to be my favorite find of the day. It is indeed one of the old World War I style tanks. It is a French tank known as the Renault, or probably pronounced more accurately or less accurately, the Renault. I can't speak French, so that probably sounded terrible, but it is a World War I French tank. It's a lead toy, and from the research I did, it is from around 1920. So these were produced shortly after World War I, and it has a wide base on it so that you could stand it upright. And it actually still works. I'm kind of using this rag behind it. Not only does it show the detail better on the tank, but I also don't want to be rubbing my fingers all over lead because lead has a high level of toxicity. But look at all the detail still in there. Very happy that this cleaned up quite well. The other side is a bit more corroded, but this is probably one of my favorite old toys that I've ever found metal detecting. You can see this side here I've scrubbed just as good, but it's a little bit more crusty. I'm not sure if I'm going to clean it any further or just leave it like this. It actually looks quite good the way it is. But there you go, and I will show you quickly here and get my feet wet for you guys that it does stand up. Oh, that didn't work out good. There you go. It still stands upright like it's supposed to. How awesome is that? Okay, I was not expecting this, filling in the hole as I talk here. This was about 4 inches down, which is actually 4 or 5 inches, which is my deepest signal here so far. Really sketchy, faint nickel signal. And I wasn't expecting this. It's actually a V nickel. That is incredible. I got the nickel trifecta. Wow. Yeah, this is older than the house for sure. This whole neighborhood wasn't established until I believe the late 1920s, so that's a stretch. But that's still an awesome find. Put it in the pouch and keep going. I just got a modern clad spill a second ago, got a dime and a nickel, and there was a zinc penny down there that I skipped for now. Trying to get all the goodies out. Check that out. It has been a while since I found a V nickel, and this one, even though it's quite worn and a bit corroded like most nickels are, it's got a nice clear date on it. It turned out to be a 1906. That is awesome. I got to do a little touch-up cleaning on it yet. Usually for the old nickels, since the surface is already annihilated on them, I just clean them underwater and apply moderate pressure with a wet cloth to get the dirt that's kind of a stickler off of it. But yeah, for nickels, I don't do too much other than clean them underwater and give them a little rub down to get the loose dirt off. But there it is, 1906 V-nickel. Pushing it for age on that lawn. And you can see it's raining back here. I'm getting some rain on the coins here. But there you have it. Okay, it's getting dark. I turned the detector down because the interference is really bad on this side of the yard. I'm right between the driveway and the sidewalk. I'm not going to show it here, right by the house number. And I'm making one last pass under these bushes that they're maintaining here. And all the ground's tore out. Right on the edge of the grass. This is like one of the last patches of the yard I haven't hit. The other sections of the yard for the last hour and a half I've been going over and over and over and over. I'm not going to show much of the area here, but I mean this yard's only probably 8 by 8 yards wide. That's about the extent of it from the sidewalk there up until the house about right there. I mean that's it. But if it's original, there can be a lot of good stuff. But just in case this is silver when I fished it live, because it hit 86, it could be a shallow silver dime. Really good signal. You can see there's some roots down in this section. Try it down over this way here. Oh, what is that? Oh, it's a modern quarter. It rang up a little lower. A couple inches down as well, got pushed around. Hey, we'll still take it. Okay, not sure how well you're gonna see this. It's getting really dark out, but I'm glad I keep going around, up and down, back and forth, constantly trying to squeak out any signal. And I got a faint signal that only hit one direction. And I found another buffalo nickel up around where I found the first one, but really crappy signal. Just any little repeatable non-ferrous peep I'm digging out of here. So once again, another buffalo nickel that is too worn down to see the date. You can only see the very bottom of the Liberty letters there, and the date is definitely slicked out. The interesting thing on the reverse, apart from that nice little scratch I put in it, is that I can tell that there is a D mint mark down below, what looks to be a D mint mark, down below the rim there between the E and the C, or I should say below it, but in between those letters and straight down from there. And because this is very worn, I would assume this is a coin from the teens, from 1913, probably, possibly even up into the early 20s. I would say this is probably no newer than 1924 or around in there. So what we're going to do is, on the next video, we're going to get out my acid and see if we can restore the date on this, since it is smooth and doesn't have too much corrosion down around that date area. I'm going to clean it off real good and we'll apply the acid. And also, we're going to be trying to restore the date on this bucket of buffalo nickels. I've been saving these for a while from lots that I've picked through over the years, and I've got a huge bucket of all dateless buffalo nickels, mostly obviously which have been non-dug. That one there, actually, just from the way the Liberty lettering looks on it, that might be a 1913 Type 2, something like that. There's going to be a lot of older ones in here, but that's going to be on a future video, so wait for it. Well, I don't know what else is in this hole making it go all funky and why the signal is so terrible, but once I cleared the buffalo nickel out, it had a sketchy high tone off to the next of it that sounded, off to the side of it that sounded like a, like possibly a silver dime. I got about 4 inches down here. It's a silver quarter. I think it's 1952, but let's see if there's more in there. Huh. I wonder why this signal came in so bad. You'd think even if with that sketchy nickel signal and with a silver quarter, you would think it would still give a very repeatable signal. So I'm going to scan around here again, and if there's more, I'll let you know. Woo-wee! Look at the luster on that 1952 silver quarter. It has been a while since I found one like this. And I got to do some touch-up cleaning there. It looks like Washington's got a snot coming out of his nose. But 1952 has some of the original luster, probably dropped when it was uncirculated or very near uncirculated. Naturally, they probably took it home from the bank or the store. But all the detail is there, the crisp lettering that is not worn around the rim. What an awesome silver coin to pull out of the ground. Alright, so I'm going to show you all this before the rain starts picking up again. It's been on and off for the last 2 days, but this is literally all of the trash targets I dug from that yard, even trying to dig every non-ferrous signal I could find. It was one of the most preserved lawns I have ever hunted. Now, there were some other trash targets in my pouch from before, so I may have missed one or two or added something in here, but I'm pretty sure after picking through that this was exactly what I dug out of there. There was just a piece of aluminum, that hook that was in with the mercury dime, a piece of junk metal there, some sort of a little aluminum cap there, another piece of just scrap metal. I thought there were no pull tabs or bottle caps, but it looks like one of them's crunched up. I just thought that was a piece of aluminum. Another piece of aluminum there. There was a really deep piece of a mason jar lid in that front yard. It's possible that this was from before the house was built, when that was still probably farmland or something like that. That may not even be from the original house there. And that lump of coal, that was like literally it for the trash targets. One of the most maintained lawns over the last probably 80 years that I've ever hunted. Really awesome. Alrighty, so here's a brief recap of the finds. This was an amazing coin shooting hunt. One of my favorite lawns I've hunted this year so far. It was so preserved, kind of like a time capsule. Everything was just locked down there with very little trash at a natural depth. But anyhow, for the modern coins and semi-modern coins. I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quarters. One is a bicentennial drummer boy. These are 1776 to 1976. So always cool to find those. And that one was a surface find still in the grass. I got 3 non-silver dimes, 2 nickels from the 70s. I got 7 pennies that are 4 copper and 3 zinc. Then into the older finds, the only wheat penny from the 50s is a 1952D. This entire row here is all wheat pennies from the 1940s. So a lot of earlier coins from this line, considering the house I believe was built in the late 20s, possibly early 30s. So a lot of the coins dropped there were ones early to the house being built. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those from the 40s and 2 wheat pennies from the 1930s, a 37 and a 38, bringing in a total of 11 wheat cents. I thought there was 12 actually. I'll have to look around. Maybe I dropped one here in the house somewhere, have it pushed around. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff here I have to go through. It's getting out of hand. So I need to catalog like most of this stuff, but I don't want to show too much because I haven't gotten to all those videos yet. But anyhow, down here, I almost got 2 nickel trifectas today. We got the 2 World War II era part silver nickels right there. We got the 2 dateless buffalo nickels and the 1 1906 V nickel. So awesome yard on the old nickels. We got the 2 silver dimes right there, the Roosevelt and the Mercury, and bringing up the rear on the coins with that awesome 1952 silver quarter. That's a really pretty coin. And you can't forget the medallion I found for Woodman of the World, and the what I would still call the best find of the day, despite all those cool coins, is that World War I tank. That is awesome. So yeah, man, I have to say this beats my yard where I found the Walking Liberty $50, just because in this lawn I got a lot of old nickels as well. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. If you haven't, please subscribe. We're closing in on 200,000 subscriptions. I'd really appreciate that if you're not subscribed already. So take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Well, I just figured out if I turn my handheld camera sideways, I can shoot like I'm on a cell phone.